Well, I've been in Washington all this week, as you know, Alex, and attending meetings, and it's clear that on Capitol Hill, the Ryan and McConnell effort, along with the Democrats, is stall Donald Trump's program. I mean, every time I go to a meeting, there's another report about how some committees are saying it's going to take months to repeal Medicare. It's going to take maybe 2 years. How tax cuts are complicated, and if we let the government be run by Ryan and McConnell, it's going to be completely a Democratic Party agenda of, do nothing but slow down the economy, gradually grind it into a recession or depression. And, thankfully, Donald Trump, I don't think is going to stand for it. It's just hard to have the amount of subversion that's in Washington of the president's agenda. Every place you turn, even within the White House, there are people working against President Trump.
And let's be clear.
Right. I mean, I'm even suspicious here of Reince Priebus, who is, the chief of staff. He's Republican GOP establishment. And he's not going to root out of the State Department, the 1,000 people who have signed this anti-Trump letter saying that they disapprove of his closing temporarily immigration from 7 states in the Middle East that even Obama identified as terrorist states. Saying it's really an attack on Islam. It's not. It's an attack on terrorists coming into the country from these 7 renegade states. But, you see the Reince Priebus and all of the Republican GOP, even in Wisconsin, the White House, and now they're going to work continuously with David Brock, who is actively trying to block out conservative and libertarian news agencies like InfoWars, and to keep everything marginalized so that the mainstream media every day can have a hate Trump love fest among themselves in the daily press briefing.
That's right.
Right, and it's shocking, this briefing book, and you're exactly right. That's what's going on within the White House. You've got the Republican establishment working against Trump, and it's shocking. This briefing book from David Brock, who I call the father of fake news, because the whole term was invented by Brock, and it was invented to work with Google and Facebook, and the document just lays it out, chapter and verse, how news agency that are not ideologically correct are going to be branded fake news. And then the effort is going to be made by the Google and Facebook to uncritically remove these websites from any ability to share in the ad revenue, to make sure that they're silenced. They're considered toxic, alt-right.
These are
and the whole term fake news is a meme. It's a narrative invented by Brock. He makes that very clear in this document. And his entire goal, he states it openly, is to take the air out of any group that would give legitimacy to the Trump administration. So InfoWars immediately is targeted for slow play in every possible way. And, Donald Trump, I don't think, is yet fully aware of the extent to which Media Matters has dominated Google and Facebook, has penetrated working with the mainstream media in the accredited press in the White House, at the same people sitting in the front rows always. And I think when Donald Trump realizes that this is a leftist David Brock attempt, and we see it now in this document, documented fully, to control the media, in anti-Trump media, to control it despite Trump being president, and to control it from within by controlling the White House press office and doing everything possible to subvert efforts that Donald Trump wants to make. Right. And the problem is, as you try to root it out, look at, the State Department's a good example. You have 1,000 people resign, great. You got 1,000 people who are still employed who are signing anti-Trump letters. But if they don't want to do their jobs at the State Department, if they don't want to support the administration, they should get out, and Trump should fire them. But again, Donald Trump's got to realize, and I'm confident he's going to wake up to it. He always does. I've known him for 40 years. He catches on. But, the degree of subversion that David Brock and this hard left, inventing fake news and then targeting groups to be excluded from Facebook. Yes, it is. And it can't be in the heart of the Trump administration, where people are subverting the president's agenda, restricting access to the president, taking away his cell phone so he can't communicate with anyone who might be supporting him, allowing the anti-Trump mainstream media, and Brock makes no doubt about it. He says in this memorandum was never intended for the public, only for his donors. It says confidential all over it. The goal is to deny the Trump administration legitimacy through targeting any news organizations, conservative, yes, libertarian.
This is a fit.
Right, and he's got $13 million. He's putting out this proposal for more money, and he's looking for the hard left, wherever it comes from, in the United States, outside, he doesn't care, to fund Media Matters, to do systematic research, and put websites, news agencies, media like InfoWars in the crosshairs of his sites to say fake news, to smear, to pass information around, deny credentials, block out, marginalize any news agency that would dare to support the president's agenda. So the agenda can be totally dominated by media that is Brock approved, Google and Facebook allowed, to get past their censorship. And you get past their censorship by being anti-Trump. It's as simple as that.
Trump is.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, I again see in the, even in the Congress, I mean, you're talking about Ryan and McConnell saying, oh, no, we can't have tax cuts. We can't cut Medicare. I mean, when President Trump understands this, like he said today, he's going to demand within 30 days that there's going to be tax cuts. There's nothing to say that you can't take out of, the demand in this Obamacare that you either have to have health insurance or pay a tax. I mean, there's various provisions in Obamacare that can be immediately repealed. And then beyond that, the broad tax cuts that the president wants to put into place, which will stimulate the economy, are going to be opposed here in Washington. Well, the problem is you've got so many vested interests, including the GOP establishment. And I'm very suspect of Priebus still being within the White House. He's totally GOP establishment. And, when it comes down to even picking the ambassadors, now that we've got...
let's just say it. Priebus represents the GOP establishment that's bought and paid for by George Soros. It's a fact.
It's a fact. I wrote in 2008, I did the first articles to show that John McCain had been financed by Soros. At least a dozen of them, including Ryan. And they don't want tax cuts because the truth is there's too many in the GOP establishment who become wealthy with the spending programs going right along with Obamacare, going right along with the Democrats. And the truth is that, President Trump's got to realize that the GOP establishment, including within the State Department, within many agencies, and within the White House itself, is not his friends. And given the chance, they will subvert his agenda. That's the whole. Well, and it's also, you've got to understand, when Trump understands this, and I've known him for 40 years, he will make immediate changes. I mean, I've seen him look at the campaign when he needed to change campaign managers and bring in Manafort in order to manage delegates. He did so. When he needed a campaign manager that could really guide the campaign, Kellyanne Conway came on and did a brilliant job. These are Trump people. There are a lot of Trump people around willing to play a role in the administration and in the media. Now, Donald Trump realizes that the mainstream media is shutting out those of us who would help Trump. When he realizes that the departments are still packed with John Kerry and Barack Obama supporters, there's going to be a massive firing out of the bureaucracy. And we need a bigger press room in the White House. We need more access for the internet, reporters and bloggers who truly support Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to turn the press narrative around. He's going to get these mainstream...
That's right, and that's all being blocked by Spicer under orders of Priebus. And I know for a fact from multiple sources, Priebus is going in with anybody Trump wanted and brought in that he's known and saying, the president's fired you. And the person says, I want to hear from the president. And then a day later, Spicer goes, let's be friends, let's be friends. Classic tactics that Reince Priebus is engaged in. I mean, just look at the guy. He looks like a weasel out of Central Casting, but then look at his pedigree. He is the worst of the worst that tried to steal the nomination from Trump and said our votes didn't count as citizens. I mean, this is crazy. So Trump is delivering on his promises so far, you know, day 18 or 19. I love him. It's amazing. The problem is you can see him being opposed in real time by his own people.
Well, Trump wants to move, and I think appropriately at warp speed. He sees the need, and he wants, as a CEO, to correct it. And every time he turns around, he's got Priebus and Ryan and McConnell, the Republican GOP establishment, saying, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't move so fast. We have to consider." No, he doesn't have to consider anything.
And then they leak. Oh, the president admits he's wrong. He's not going to move fast. The next day he goes, "I didn't say that. We're moving fast." They keep, again, just like Gingrich, saying, "Oh, the president told me it's all a lie. He's not going to drain the swamp." And the president said, "You're a liar. Go tell people that's a lie." He had to go say he was lying. They're really trying to undermine him.
Exactly. If the president wants to, and he will want to change the narrative in this country, get rid of the mainstream media still sitting in the front row of the press office every time he comes in asking gotcha questions and determined to write negative stories. You want to change the narrative in America, change the press room, a bigger press room, open to a more diverse press, and get this David Brock and these other criminal leftists who want to destroy this country with censorship exposed, along with Google and Facebook.
Absolutely. And I want to.
Well, I think that basically the support of in the country for Donald Trump has never been higher. And I think that people are seeing that Donald Trump is doing a magnificent job. And Alex, I think he was on your show, I believe, 3 times in the campaign. He listens to you. We can see he's responded very quickly.
The Drudge.
Immediately, he'll respond as well to you. And I think the whole issue...
Well, we'll stay right.
I agree with you entirely. Trump is a brilliant manager, and he will listen. He's listened to you, Alex. He listens to readers. He's very active on the internet. He spends his evenings. He's listening. He's getting great appointments in place. I was very, very thrilled to see Senator Jeff Sessions confirmed this morning as Attorney General. That's a major, major step. But Trump has got to realize how much subversion from within the media, within the White House, this GOP Republican establishment cannot be trusted. They'll slow his agenda at every moment. I see this in D.C. I'm here. I've been all week.
That's right. He can't bring them in and share power. They're going to be sabotaging him the entire time.
That's right. And it's going to take Trump's awareness of it. Now, once he fully catches on, I can assure you that Donald Trump will clean house, and the same indications I think you're hearing, I'm hearing too. There will be changes coming.
Talk about what you're hearing in D.C., because I know you know all the heavy hitters. What's the word?
Well, the word is just what you were saying. I mean, that Priebus is actually trying to get rid of some of the Trump loyalists who've gone to Trump, and Trump said, "What do you mean you're leaving? Or what do you mean?" I said, "I want you to stay." And then they may point out that Priebus has been trying to get rid of them. And we can name some names, but I'd like to keep it confidential.
Let's not do it. Yeah, let's not do it.
I can tell you, you're 100% right on what you just reported. And my confidence is Donald Trump will listen. He's going to make substantial changes, but he's going to have to understand, and he's coming to understand, that he's got forces from within the Republican GOP, even within the White House today, certainly within the press corps.
By the way, I've been like 6, 7 years ago on the phone with you on Skype during a break. You go, "I got to go. It's Donald Trump." And I've talked to folks. Somebody's coming in your office. You can let them in. Go ahead. I mean, the point is that, Trump will get a hold of you soon. We'll figure all this stuff out. Have them come on in. It's no big deal. This is live Skype. People love it. But this is quite a time to be alive right now, Dr. Corsi. We only got 60 seconds left. Any other points?
Well, no, I think my major point is that I'd love to tell listeners, just continue to be on Twitter, continue to follow InfoWars. Your comments are listened to.
Your articles are so key. Your articles are from deep sources. These are super important articles that Dr. Corsi's writing.
And I'm going to have a whole series more next week on David Brock. David Brock is at the heart of fake news. He's the father of fake news. He's at the heart with Google, and Google's not to be trusted. Facebook's not to be trusted. They're both solidly anti-Trump, and we're going to expose this and continue exposing it until we can open up this press room.
All right. How do folks contact you if they want to give you news tips? We need to give you an InfoWars email soon.
Right through InfoWars. Contact me right.
Show tips. We're going to get your own email today. We've been so busy we haven't even done that in 2 weeks. Thank you, Dr. Corsi. We'll talk to you soon.
I look forward to it. Thanks, Al.
Thank you, sir. Now on the InfoWars team. Stay with us. Your call straight ahead.